what I'll do then, I'm going to share my screen in a second. But before I do that, I want to share a story, if you allow me. And I'm going to share my personal story because around this time, where majority of your kids are either in year 10 and year 11, that's when a lot of when my life kind of changed a little bit. So if you allow me about 5 or 6 minutes, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story, okay? Where I started from in terms of as a student when I was similar age to your children here. So around when I was in school, I wasn't one of those high achieving students. Yeah, a lot of my friends, they were in top sets, they were in the higher classes, and I was kind of mediocre in the middle towards a lower end. So I'll be in like the set fours. You know, if there was 5 sets in the school, maybe not right at the bottom, but kind of set four around that area, that kind of stage. And it wasn't I was a mess about or anything. I would just didn't get things very quickly. It took me a long time to understand, and I would struggle, and I had to work like twice as hard as everybody else just to get half as far, which was a bit annoying, but hey ho. Around year 10 time, so when I was about 14-ish, 15, you know, we get given predicted grades. Predicted grades, and I'll go through that later on. Predicted grades are what your teacher thinks you're going to get. I was predicted at the time grades D's, E's, some C's, yeah, some C's. So they weren't right at the bottom, but they're kind of very middle to low end. D's, C's, and a couple of E's as well. That's what my teachers predicted me to get based on the results they've seen over the years and my primary school results. Because they also look at primary school results, what you get in your SATs, to make that decision in your predictions for year 11. So that's the grades I got. And by me receiving those grades, it made me change my aspirations a little bit. I always wanted to do things like, I wanted to get into engineering, but then it made me think, you know what, I can still do it, but I need to go through a different route. I need to go through the vocational route, not the academic route, where academic is where you do A levels and things like that. So that got stuck in my head. But for some reason, I wasn't really happy with that. Yeah. So what I had to do is I'm trying to cut a long story short. I had to work a lot harder. Like at home, I would start, I had to start revising, etc. But it's still nothing would go in. So what happened is we had a shop, and some people who live in Oldham and who are students here might know that we had a shop in an area called Godick, which wasn't at the time the nicest of areas, but it was, and there was a lot of people with not as many aspirations. Not many people wanted to do well, and I just once, William, are you okay to put yourself on mute, please, just so that we can? Yeah, thank you. Uh, Sorry, where was I? Yeah, and my father had a shop at the time, and a lot of again, like many Asian parents and kids, we had to help our dad in the shop. I was the only son in the family, so after school was my time where I had to sit in the shop and help tell my dad to go upstairs. We lived above the shop, and he'd go and eat, and I'd stay there all evening, and so on. So one of the disadvantages for me was that I didn't have the time to study as much as maybe other people because I had to work in the shop on the weekends and week evenings as well. So as a result, one of the things I realized, again, cutting a very long story short, is the only time I could study, or the best time I could study, was early in the morning. And not many students or teenagers would want to do that, but that was the only time I had. So this was like 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock a.m. in the morning. That's when I would wake up and I would study, and that was the times where I would gain a lot of knowledge. I would understand the work better because I didn't have any distractions. Nobody was awake. It was just me and whatever I could devise. I didn't have a tutor. I didn't have anyone around me to help me, but it was just whatever I could do. And over a period of time, by me doing that, as well as obviously working in the shop, and when there were no customers, I would also revise. I would try to study, do what I can. Slowly but surely, I started to make the gains, and this was in year 10 when I was given these predicted grades and I realized I want to get higher. And eventually I started to improve. And by year 11, after I got my grades, it was a bit of a surprise. I managed to get, at the time it was good, six A's, four B's. That was like, it made me like one of the top five in the entire school. So I had to change then. I had to change my trajectory, or change my plan for what I wanted to do as a career. So getting these top grades made me realize, oh, hang on, I can do something that's not vocational. I can go through the academic route. So then I went to sixth form college and then decided to do maths, chemistry, electronics, and computing, I think. And then things changed. So I went into an academic route. Now, the reason why I'm telling you this is a lot of parents get these mock exam results, get these predicted results, and they see it's really low or not what they want. Maybe the child wants to do medicine or something like that. And they see these mock results in either year 10 or year 11 and they lose hope. The reason why I'm telling you this is you should never lose hope because there's always a way, but it all relies on the student, the child, to push themselves during that time when they realize that. If they can do it before then, brilliant. If not, once they get the results, it should be a wake up call for you to push yourself as hard as you possibly can. And that's the message I kind of want to give you as a parent. And if there's any students watching, for that as well. Your mom, your dad, your teachers, they can only do a certain amount, but a lot of it is down to the individual student. Okay. Eventually I ended up, I did my A levels. I did pretty well. I went to university. I did aerospace engineering, and then I realized that I teaching was something I wanted to do. I wanted to share my story and help other children realize their potential. So I kind of changed careers a little bit, and then I went into teaching, and then the rest is history. Aim High was born. I was teaching, in a secondary school for over 12 years, and again, very long story, cut short. And if you want to listen to the full story, we can do that another time. But that's the key thing I want you to take away. So if anybody learned something from that, never let a mock exam result or a teacher's prediction determine your entire life. A lot of kids look at that result and just think that's it. Yeah. So I just want you to understand that. Okay. So here we go. I'm going to share. Was that helpful, by the way, guys? Before I share my screen, did anyone gain anything from that piece of that little story? Just let me know. If so, what did you learn from that? Whilst I get my screen up, you can write in the chat, or if you want, you can scream it out as well. We can shout it out. Bear with me, let me get my. Okay, I'll give you a few more seconds if there's anybody else typing, and I'll check those. Yes, the predicted grades are predicted for a reason. Good, I like that. There's always time to improve. That's good, Jasmine. Thank you. Right, okay. Again, just feel free to type at any point. If I miss your messages later on, just remind me again because there's a lot going on and it's just me at the moment. So again, I've taken a bit of your time, extra time than I wanted, but here we go. Here's the plan for today. Welcome and introduction. I've done that. I'm going to mainly talk about exam facts and information, things that parents need to know, mock exams and how to prepare for them, mock exams and what to do after results, and exam revision tips. I'm going to try and touch on a few of those, and then question and answers. Okay, so I've done all this, so let's move on. This is something I want you to look at, parents, especially parents. So make sure you can all see it. When you were young, when I was in school, the old grading system was in letters, A stars being the top best grade you can get, all the way to a grade U, which is a fail. Okay. The new exam system is different. It's in numbers. The only thing that's stayed the same is a grade U, which is a fail. We don't need to worry about that because I hope nobody ever gets to that stage. Okay. We're going to look at the what the expected pass is in the United Kingdom. Yeah. So whenever someone says this person has passed with a strong pass, usually it would be like a grade C. Okay. We now call it a grade 5. A grade 5 is a strong pass. Everyone in the UK, every student should be expecting to get a strong pass. okay, which is a grade 5, equivalent to a C or a very high C. There's also a standard pass, which is a grade 4. Okay, so that is like a C, a grade C, in the old speak. Okay, so first of all, let's understand that grade 5 is a strong pass, grade 4 is a standard pass, and both of them are passes in terms of both of them are equivalent to a C. Now, your grade 7 is an A, a grade A. So when I was in school, I got grade A's for my GCSEs. I got grade 7. I was predicted grade D's and E's, which was grade 3s and 2s. But I managed to get A's and B's, which is 6s and 7s. For me, perfect. That was amazing. Okay. Some students are going to get A stars. A stars in the new language, in the new numerical system, is called a grade 8. A grade 8. And then the top 1% in the country, or is it, I can't remember, there's a very few students get this, a grade 9. A grade 9 is an A star with a distinction. So it's better than an A star. And that is where you're one of the best in the country. We have a lot of students that aim high that do get grade 9s and get grade 8s. If your child's a higher student, you're expecting them to be aiming for around these sort of grades, 8s, 9s, and 7s. So if they're a top set student, again, these are also very good. And with certain students, yes, they will be getting grade 3s and 2s. We also have to understand that not every child is the same. Some students will, their target, they're aiming for a grade D, which is a 3, which might be enough for them to get into the college place. So we also have to allow for those students that are aiming for those subjects. Okay, so first of all, does that make a bit more sense to you parents? And if it's something that you already knew, it's always good to revise all things again. So did it make sense? Just give me a number one. You don't have to type anything, just give me a number one in the chat if it made sense. So you just type the number one if it made sense to you, or if it didn't make sense, just write number two and I'll try and elaborate a bit more. Some of this would be quite new to some people, some of it will be not new to some people. Okay, so I got many ones, so that's fine. Uh, so here we go. Now, let's have a look at grade 4 in detail. I know some students are aiming a lot higher than a grade 4, but the minimum you need in maths and English to do anything after school is a grade 4. If your child doesn't get a grade 4 in maths and a grade 4 in English, then they must resit it again in college. Yeah? So that's something to bear in mind. If your child's working at a grade 2 or 3, and they're not pushing past that to get a grade 4, there's a high chance they have to do that exam again in college, whether it's in November or whether it's in the May afterwards. Some A-level courses require higher GCSE grades. So for example, if you're doing A-level maths, that requires a minimum of a grade 6. If you're doing certain subjects like biology, chemistry, etc., they require a higher grades because they're quite competitive. And again, if you don't get the right grades for minimum of grade 4, you do have to resit. If you get a grade 4, if you don't get a grade 4, it doesn't mean that you can't get into your subjects that you want to do. Not necessarily. You can still do certain courses. So I know I was speaking to a student, she wanted to get into hair and beauty. She didn't need a grade 4 to get into that course, so she could still do it. But at the same time, she had to resit maths and English because you do need to get that as part of the government requirements in the UK. Okay, now mocks. Some schools call the mocks. Some schools call it PPEs, pre-public exams. So they're the same thing. Basically, what these are, they're just a practice round for you to do your real exam, whether it's your GCSE exams, or if you're in primary, you're doing SATs exams. These are practice to see how you get on in an exam before the exam time. So a lot of students are doing exams in May. But the mock exams, a lot of them are happening in October, in November, and some in December. Okay, so every school is different. What's the point in doing them? This is a good chance for you to practice your exam techniques. A lot of the times you're learning content, but you want to put yourself in that exam pressure to apply your knowledge to exam style questions, but also to work in pressure. A lot of students don't do well because not because they don't know the knowledge, is because when they're in a hall full of a few hundred students in that exams condition, they panic, they get scared. I was one of those students as well, and this puts them in that situation. So it's really important that they get this practice, and it gives your child that predicted grade. Now, I'm going to talk about predicted grades a bit more in a second, but I'll just quickly list why mocks are important. It allows them to see where they need to do more revision. Now, after about November, December time, we see so many students wanting extra help, wanting to join Aim High tuition. It's because their mock results have come out and they've realized, hang on, I need help. I need to get the support to get to where I need to be. And that's where it's a wake-up call, because the mock results allow you to do more revision. Students start taking things seriously, especially when they're in year 11, after October and November. You'll see that wake up call. If you haven't done so and your child seen that wake up call, you should start seeing it in the next few weeks. If you don't see that wake up call, let me know. I'll have a chat with them to wake them up, because this is around this time in this year. Mock exams build the child's confidence for taking exams as well. And helping your child understand the purpose of mock exams will keep them motivated. Okay. I understand some students have already done their mock exams, because some students are doing it this week, but it's still good to understand why they're important. Giving you the predicted grades, the mock exams on their own don't give you a predicted grades, believe it or not. They give you a grade to say this is the exam result you got in your predicted grades. But what a lot of schools do is they use like a holistic approach. They look at your primary school results or the SATs test. So that allows them to identify what pathway they are following, whether they're going to do higher paper or the foundation paper. So the SATs test in year 6 is so important. Parents don't realize this, and sometimes they realize too late. They get the child tuition when they're in year 9, year 8, year 7, but the school has made certain decisions on what pathway to put them in. So make sure your child's SATs test results are good and you're preparing for them if you're a younger child that's joined or younger parent that's joined. So they use the predicted grades, they use historic test results. So they'll use results from year 7 end of year exams, they'll use results from last summer's mock exams, and then they put all that together and they come up with a predicted grade as well. So your results are not solely based on they're not solely based on the mock exam results, but a lot of it is. Okay, guys, just so I know we're all here, just give me again, just give me a thumbs up if you can, or something to say that you are still with me and it's making sense to you. And again, if it's not making sense to you, tell me as well. So let me see. Okay, you can just, I need to see my people. So let me see you all. If there's anyone who's, oh, Issa, thanks for the thumbs up there. Tasha, come on, guys, let's see. Anaya, does it make sense? Give me a thumbs up. And those of you that haven't got cameras on, come on, put it on. I want to see you all. I want to see everyone's, because when I know you're 100% there, I can deliver 100%. It's like, imagine I can't see you. If someone can't see you, we know, you're hiding away, picking your nose, or not paying attention. So pop your cameras on, guys. Yeah, we want to get 100%. We expect our students to do it. I expect the parents to do it. So do please put your cameras on and take notes. I forgot to mention, write things down, because there might be some things that are new to you. Okay. Uh, Let me just quickly check. Makes sense. Good, good. We've got a few thumbs up. Thank you for engaging, guys. It helps me, and you know, feel like I'm doing something useful for you guys. What are the goals for the mocks? What grades does your child need? Know exactly when the mocks are. So first of all, what are the goals for the mocks? I've just mentioned it's mainly for predicted grades, mainly for you to get an idea of where they're at and also give them the practice. What grade does your child need? Now, that's important based on where your child is heading. If your child is wanting to get into, say, for example, medicine, I'm going to use medicine. A lot of parents, students want to do that. Then they'll have certain entry requirements that they need. So, for example, chemistry, they'll need to get a certain grade. Biology, they'll need to get a certain grade so that they can get into the sixth form college with that predicted grade. So it's important for you to know where your child's destination is. If you don't know just yet, it doesn't matter. You know, kids will develop this in time to come. but it's always good to know what aspiration or what career they're heading for, and then you can look at the college prospectus and see what the entry requirements are. So, and also likewise, if there's a certain subject that you're aiming for, that you want to do, and the requirements are only a grade 5, and you hit a grade 5, that's good. That means you're on target, but you can also push further to get a higher grade as well, if possible. Okay, now knowing the exam mock dates and the real exam, yeah. As a parent, guys, I want every parent to know when your child's mock exam is. The date for which all the subjects, maths, English, science, geography, history, whatever they do, whether it's in the morning, what time it is, you need to know that as well as a parent, so you can bear it in mind when they're doing these exams. And most importantly, the real exams you should also know. You should know when the exams are. The students will know it, but you as parents should know it, because then you can motivate them, you can encourage them, give them that positive praise when it's due, give them that reassurance. And you might notice that sometimes students are maybe a little bit off, they might be stressed. So knowing that is also very helpful. Now, this last year I did this with all our year 11 students at towards the exam time, and it was the most important thing you can give your child. Yeah, I want to tell you about this now. It's a revision timetable. Before the maths, teaching the English or the science or the content or getting tuition or anything like that, fix a study timetable for your child. We all have timetables for certain things, waking up, brushing our teeth, going to school, going to work, having our lunch break. But when it comes to studying, a lot of students, they just randomly revise. What I mean by randomly is they'll do some today, they'll do some tomorrow when you nag them, they'll do some when they've got an exam the day before, but there's nothing fixed. Consistency is what your child needs when it comes to revision. And students, if you're listening, consistency is what you guys need. With studying, with exams, it is not a sprint. You're not going to get things with the one night revision. It's a marathon. You do small bursts over a period of time and you get to where you need. Okay. So, what I mean by that is create a revision timetable that's really easy to follow. So, you'll have, again, I mentioned this plenty of times. Along the top, you'll have your days: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And along the bottom you'll have your times: 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m., blah blah blah. Write down all the times and then block off, whether it's 1 hour or 30 minutes or 20 minutes, block off times where you've got time to study and where you can put that in. Block it off, put the subjects down: maths, English, science, past paper, this, that, the other, and follow it. Keep it really simple. Don't overcomplicate it. If you can't do 30 minutes, do 15 minutes and just follow it each time. And just by following that, you've got it's almost like a map. You're following a map or a roadmap that's going to get you to your success. And if you follow that every time, you'll stay on track. But if you do random thing, like I keep saying the word random, probably not the right word to use, but if you don't have a plan and you just do it as and when you feel like it, you're going to go around in circles, and trust me, the time will for your exams will catch up pretty soon. So just bear that in mind, please. Okay, make a revision timetable. I think I've made a video on this. I did a webinar with parents, with students last year. If you want, let us know. We'll try and dig that out and share it with you. uh, don't just revise content. Just reading notes does not work. Yeah, practice the questions, do exam papers, do past papers. Yeah, read the notes, cover it, and do it again. See what you can remember from memory, because passive revising, it doesn't work. It's like anything. There's so much information out in the world. When you read all these posts on social media, or when you read articles, how much of it do you remember? You don't remember anything. The best thing is just to practice and repeat. Then that's one of the best things to do. And practice in the exam conditions. Parents, allow your children to block off 1.5 hours or 1 hour, depending on how long an exam is. Move the phones away and do an exam paper under that exam condition. It puts them under pressure, and then it allows them to work with a timer as well, because that's exactly what an exam is going to be. Okay. uh, Use model solutions and mark schemes. There's so much things online. ask our teachers at Aim High. I'll share some resources towards the end on where you can get exam questions, mark, model answers, and you just practice that. Look at those, check how they compare with your answers, because um, everything is already done. The exams are never different in drastically. So what I mean, let me say that again. Exams are always the same questions they're asking every single year in different ways. Yes, some years they may have certain topics compared to others, but if you do past papers and you start getting into the habit of doing those and checking them, you'll have increased your chances of seeing certain topics that come up regularly, and that's how you can get better at it. Do I mean that you're going to come to Aim High and just do a past paper every single day? No, because that's not going to be a good use of your time. What you should be doing is you should be doing that at home, and you should be looking at the mark schemes. If it's Maths Genie that you use for the mark schemes and the solutions, you use that. If it's a YouTube video where they're doing a walkthrough of an exam paper, you use that. We use that time during your blocked timetable to do the revision, okay? And maintain a healthy balance of revision, guys. And parents, I'm reminding parents. We have a lot of parents that are old school, okay? Let me see you all. Let me see all the old school parents. I'm gone. Yeah? Where are my Nigerian parents? Give me a thumbs up. Yeah? Come on, give me a thumbs up because I know where you all are. There's even to be fair, every parent, even all our Southeast Asian parents, we're all the same. We want to push the child until they break. Yeah, we want to push them and make them work really hard, which is good. There's a time and place for that. Yeah, but also we have to understand that sometimes doing lots and lots of something isn't good. So have a good balance. Have breaks. Give your child like some time to chill. Let them play on the games, not constantly. If they followed their timetable, if they've studied, they've done hard work, let them have some time where they're not thinking about it, because a lot of learning, a lot of connecting of things they've learned happens when you're not learning, when you're sleeping, when you're relaxing. So also have those in place in your timetable as well. Okay. And also have a healthy balance of food as well. Eat the right things. They don't really tell you that in school. When you're revising, yeah, eat the right stuff. Don't eat a lot of bad food, oily food, takeaway food, because these things, they make you tired, they make you lazy. Eat light, but eat the right food. Drink plenty of water. This is something that's hard for a lot of even adults to do. Drink water because that will help you, help your brain work a lot better. So just don't forget the simple things, okay? I asked my son to take lots of brain breaks. Perfect. That's what you should do. I need a lot of those as well. When you take so much information, your brain can't remember everything, yeah? If I said go and watch a movie, let's say a 1 hour movie, can you remember every single detail in that movie? Of course not. Yeah. So you have to do little bits and let our brain digest that. So just bear that in mind, please. Okay. Um, right. Any other questions, guys? Come on, guys. Some of you, I say, guys, some of you parents need to put your cameras on, yeah? Otherwise, I'm gonna have to start calling you out. Okay, okay. Fojo, you've given me a reason. You are listening. Thank you. Revision techniques. Well, let me see. Old school. Tasha, yep, sounds like you're an old school as well. Take lots of reading. Okay, perfect. So, any questions, by the way, so far before I continue sharing my screen? Do you have a revision timetable template? Yes, we do. In fact, I don't know, Mr. Akil, Mr. Mohammed, if you're still around, I think you've got some revision timetables that you shared. If you are able to, let me know if you can share it. If not, I'll send that over. But we do have some timetables that you can have, some templates. So we will share that as well.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'll see if I can send it now. If not, then what we can do, we
yeah,
can send it in the meeting notes afterwards.
not a problem. Thank you, sir. Sir's just joined us last minute because he had other commitments, but he's really wanted to make sure that he's here as well. So Mr. Keel's one of the math teachers at AIM High. Anyway, so here we go. So let me go back and share some more things. Just bear with me. Here we go. Yeah. So past papers. use the mark schemes and the model solutions. I mentioned this to see where your mistakes are. A lot of students do this. They'll do an exam paper. Ah, I'm doing an exam paper. I'm passively doing it, missing out the ones that I'm getting not good at, missing out the big worded ones because I'm scared of it, and blah, blah, blah. And then that's what they're doing. But what you need to do to do it effectively, you need to go and check your answers with model solutions. Model solutions are exams which have been done by somebody else or one of our teachers have done it, and you can see exactly what they've done as a student. So you can compare it and learn from it. Don't just do a past paper and put it to a side because you've not learned anything from it. The only time we learn from anything is when we make mistakes. I don't, I hate it when students get everything right first time around. It's because if they do, it's they've not learned anything. I love it when they make mistakes and then they learn from that mistakes. When they have that aha moment, when they think, "Oh, hang on, I got that wrong, but now I know why my answer was wrong, and now I've corrected it." So that's really important. Yeah, content revision is also important. There's so much content that you need to learn. Just doing exam papers is not going to cut it. You need to learn about the certain topics. You need to learn um, how it all works. And one of the amazing resources that we give all our students at Aim High is the Century platform. It's got every single video you need, questions that you can practice, and everything is in line with the GCSEs and so on. So please use that. The content you have content quizzes on there, like on Century Tech. You've got topics that you can practice. So if you're struggling with, let's say in maths, you're struggling with trigonometry, you can search trigonometry, watch the video, do the quizzes, and then you know where you're getting going right and wrong. So you don't constantly need to rely on your teachers or anyone else. As students, you need to learn to become independent as well. Okay. And parents, you need to remind your students that children that a lot of it is independence. Okay. And then it all links. Everything is linked in the past paper questions. If you got a certain topic on a past paper wrong, go back and understand the content, then do the topic again. Do the test on Century. There's so much. It's all linked in, and use this. Please do use Century. And yesterday, is it 2 days ago? I had to pay the bill for it costs us per student, but I had to pay £6,000 for Century so that our students can benefit from it. And it absolutely hurts me when I find that certain students don't use it to the full capacity. Yeah, on Century, there's every single video your child can have access to. There's questions, there's resources, there's work that they can do which marks it for them. Please use this. In my last webinar, I went in detail on how to use Sensory. So please make sure your child is using it. If you're not sure, reach out to us. We'll send you a video on how to use it, but you must be using it. This is for all students, in whether they're primary or secondary. Okay. Right. Okay. It is a little animation for those of you visual learners. Yeah. Both are best friends. Use this for the content and the practice, and use the exam questions at home to apply your knowledge. Okay. Mock grades. What do I do next? Now, on this side, I'm going to talk about the reality of mock grades. Okay, because we see a lot of the times over the past 13 years of working with children, mock grades is when they get the results, they're like, oh no, what do I do now? Panic, worry. And it's going to be on the negative side because some students get their mock grades and it's amazing, but then they become complacent, they become lazy, and they don't put their effort in. We're going to talk about the wake up call for mock exams. Okay. Once your child's school gives them their mock exam results, you might be worried that their grades are not as high as they should be. It's good when that happens. They get that wake up call, and we don't mind that. It means that they need to work a lot harder. First thing, don't panic. Yeah. Whilst avoiding the panic, also do not avoid the problem. Don't think, what, it's happened, I'll leave it, put my head under the sand. No, don't. Don't avoid the problem, go head on with it. Okay? Low mock exam grades are a sign that more work needs to be done, and that what you did previously, not that it wasn't working, it's just that it wasn't as effective as possible. Because remember, a lot of students, they don't revise when it's the mock time. Mocks start around October, November time. Students have the whole of the 6 weeks holiday off. So in July, they're not doing anything. In August, they're not doing anything. In September, they come back days. They're not sure what's going on. They've lost all their routines. And then October is their mock. So there's a lot of factors that affect results. Okay, so most of the time, mock should be a wake up call. Your child's school may give you some guidance or a report on where the mistakes were made. Try to get that exam paper that you did back from school into your house and break it down. Literally analyze the exam paper and see where you went wrong and learn from it. Keep that, because that mock exam paper in, say, January, February time, you can have a go at it again and you'll realize, hang on, I've improved so much. So be tactful about it. Don't be passive. And again, parents, please pass this on to your children. Make sure they ask their teachers. Make sure they make their teachers work hard. Like if they've not given them the exam paper back, get them to nag them until they do. They've only got 1 year left if they're in year 11, less than 1 year. So, keep pushing the teachers as much as you can. Use this information to figure out, like I just said, where the mistakes were and be as specific as possible. Also, bear in mind, there'll be some topics your child hasn't done yet. They're only at the start of year 11 when they do their mocks. So, and they do a full exam paper for their mocks. There'll be certain topics they haven't done. So, again, don't be hard on yourself, because over the next few months, they learn these topics, whether it's at aim high or whether it's at school. Okay. Again, let me see. What you should do, like, I'm going to go back to the story I gave you at the beginning of myself. I could have sat there thinking, oh no, I'm thick, I don't get it, I've always had low grades, my mock grades, my teachers have predicted me low grades, and I could have given up. And then, you know in the long run, I wouldn't have made the impact on all the hundreds and thousands of students that I've worked with over the years if I had felt like giving up. Yeah. Instead of the low grades making me feel bad and demoralized, it motivated me to want to do that, to work harder. It made me wake up 5 a.m., 6 a.m. in the morning and work twice as hard as everyone else to overtake them. It made me work whilst I was serving customers in my father's shop. Between customers, I would be revising. And like I said, those of you that know me from here would have seen me do that on the back of um, flyers. I would be writing my calculations down and so on. It changes me. So it's a lot of mindset is important for parents and children. If you get a bad result for in any way, if you've got any setback, use it as fuel to push you and motivate you. That's the important thing. And parents, you need to know that as well. Don't be telling them off constantly if they've not done well. Find ways to motivate them. Yeah. And if they're doing well, if you see them trying, reward them as well. Okay. So just bear that in mind, please. Um, Again, I'm going to mention this again. Revision timetable is key. Okay. Have that revision timetable. After the mocks, set that straight away. When they've got the results, give them a timetable and follow it. As a parent, make sure that they're following it. You don't have to teach them anything. You just need to make sure. For example, you say, William, have you done your maths revision that you said you're going to do? Have you done your science revision that you said you're going to do on Tuesday at 6 o'clock? Just make sure you're facilitating them and keeping them accountable. And that's all you need to do. Make sure they make the timetable with your help as well, so that they keep accountable for it as well. Um, Again, I mentioned this, don't just revise content, practice questions as well. And use feedback from subject teachers, whether it's at aim high, whether it's at your school teachers. Get feedback from the teachers. Again, I'm going to mention this again, century. Use it. It's got so much video, so many videos there, so much resource there. Please do use it regularly. This is the website. Again, all parents should have login details. Students have got their login details for this. If you haven't got it, reach out to admin, support ticketers. We'll give you the logins again. Bite size. These are, again, quick revision things. If you're not revision topics, if you're not sure, internet is full of them. For maths, past papers. This is specifically for maths GCSE prep. Maths Genie is a very good one. Go on to Maths Genie. Students, if you're watching, you know this. I don't have to remind you, you know what it is. Go on to Maths Genie and you'll see. If you want, I'll go on. In fact, let me click on it. Parents, let's go on it together. Just bear with me. Um, whilst I go on it, let me just check if there's any comments. You can find some action example website as well as well. Yes. So you've got that. I think Arif said you provide link with various resources you can make, please. Okay. All right, thanks, guys. So yeah, this is how. So for example, every single topic is on here. All the from grade 1 topics, which your child must know how to do, all the way up to grade 9 topics, which is around here. There's solutions for everything. So in fact, I'm just gonna let you do that later, but I'm just gonna go on where you can find past papers. If your child is doing edXL, there's different exam boards, but to be fair, maths is maths. It doesn't matter which exam board you do, they're all the same topics. So you may see some ads here. So let's say, for example, you want to do a past paper. Let's say May 2022, paper 1. Maths has 3 papers. You can click on it, and then you'll see the exam paper come up. You don't have to print it. You can just do it on a piece of paper. Just copy it down from there. If you're lucky enough to have a printer that works, none of my printers work. You can print it out, but again, you don't need a printer. You can just go do it from the sheet. So there's the questions. You'll do that under exam conditions, and then you can find answers. You can click on there for answers. Let's see what comes up. Some of them have model solutions, which is amazing because it gives you handwritten solutions. So here we go. Look, someone's worked out the answers. And so you don't, as a parent, you don't need to know anything about it. You just need to make sure that they're doing this and they're following it, checking their answers. Yeah. Working out. So you're not having to do anything. It's all there for them. So that's that. And then if that's not good enough for you, you can click on here and there's a video that explains it. So there's, I'm not going to click on it. There's videos that explain it. So you've got access to all of these things. Okay. So that's Maths Genie. Oh, hang on. Let me stop my screen share and go back. I'll give you some more resources. Okay, I think my screen's frozen a little bit. Just whilst we're here, guys, any questions? Any questions? Please ask me now whilst my laptop reshuffles itself. I've got too many tabs open, you see. Any questions? Let me pick on people. So far, what questions do you have? Shamin, what question do you have? Fakrul, what question you guys? You guys have no camera on, so I'm going to pick on you. So Fakrul, what question do you have? Shamin, what question? Anything or anything you want to mention?
Can I start with a question, Arif?
Yep, go for it.
So no, thanks for the session. Very useful. You know the various online learning platforms you're talking about. Are you able to monitor if they're using them or not?
Of course, yes. So for example, Century, like I mentioned, we pay for this for each and every student. We pay a monthly subscription for them. We can see how long they spent on it. We can see which questions they've got right and wrong. We can see how much of the video they've watched. We can see everything on it. In the last webinar, I went through that in quite detail. We can see their scores. We can see whether they've done the homework. And as a parent, you can see that as well. Just use their logins to log in. The logins are dead easy. It's just their first name dot surname at aim high, and their password is simply lowercase password 123. So you can now hack their system and go and find what they've been doing. You'll be surprised. Some students, they don't do very much. Some students, they do so much, hours and hours worth on there. So that's the bit I need, like, parents on board. There's only so much we can force your child, but if they're using the resources like Century, there's a lot there that they can get out of. But a lot of times students, they don't like logging onto it, or they don't like watching the videos, etc. But it's all there if they need. Good question.
Thanks, Arif.
Anyone else before? We've not got long left. I know I always overrun, but it's just because I get excited. So Mr. Akil Mohammed, he's kindly shared some editable revision timetable. So you can just swipe those now. It's in the chat. It says revision timetable. Let's have a look at one of them. And there's also editable ones as well. So you can, if you like doing things on a computer, you can just do it that way. Or if you like just printing it out. I prefer printing it out because when you do something by hand, you make a timetable by hand, then you're more likely to stick to it because the evidence is there. It's your own handwriting. Okay. Any more questions, guys? We are nearly coming to the end, but I want everyone to stick around.
You haven't said anything much about year 6.
Yeah, good question. So, our main aim for this session was to do with mainly year 11s and 10s, the mock exams. That's how we advertised it. But everything that you learn, I'll answer specific questions about year six. Everything, it can be applied to year six. So, for example, the revision timetable, that's the most important thing you can do for year sixes. If they've got, because their exams in May, make that revision timetable 20 minutes a day or 10 minutes a day. What they can do is they can go onto Century, and then on there, your child has got their individual pathway. You can click that, and the work is already set out there. They just work through the pathway, and they'll have questions based on their ability. They'll get harder questions as they go along and get things right and wrong, and they'll get the system will adapt to their learning. There's videos as well on there. So all you can do, one of the best things I can tell the year six parents to do is make a condensed revision timetable where they're doing 20 minutes or 10 minutes, or even, yeah, even 5 minutes. Get them to do one nugget on Century a day and keep it consistent. Fix a time that you know your child is going to be doing work, they're going to commit to, and make sure they log in onto Century, and they just do that every day at the same time. Build that consistency in them. A lot of the times, the simplest things are the most effective things. Don't be those parents that want to buy all the books, buy all the gadgets, and try to teach them everything using AI and this, that, the other. Keep to the simple things: timetable and consistency. You'll be fine in that sense. Yeah. Did that answer your question? I know it's mainly to do with year 11s, but I really wanted to push the year 11s because they've got exams coming up soon. Um, does that answer some of your? Does that help you a little bit?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
No, Akil, you had a question, and then
Yeah. Uh, just want to clarify a couple of things. First, we have these links that I've sent. So some of these, a lot of them are for maths, but the last one, physics and maths tutor, does cover a range of subjects. So if you're looking for something with revision resources and practice papers and solutions, these three links that I've shared are very helpful for that.
okay,
The revision timetables that I've sent, okay, there are editable ones and they've got a nice template of how to use them as well. So you can see how maybe if you use it for a specific subject, they show you, okay, they pick out maths topics and they spread it out throughout the week, or if you want to do it for different subjects. Okay. Year 11 specifically, I will say this, all right. Yeah, it often tends to be the case that you leave it too late to make a revision timetable. So I would suggest doing it now, but don't try to do it where you like trying to put too much on yourself. Keep it slow and consistent, and you can always adjust it throughout the year as you get closer and closer to your exams. What ends up happening is a lot of you wait till April, May, you get your exam dates, and then you start panicking and like, okay, now I need to do a revision timetable. Right? Start off early now, build up slowly towards it. Okay. The other thing about the resources that we have, I know Arif mentioned Sentry, okay? It is really good. I think students still are not fully utilizing it. You do have like videos and slides on there to explain topics as well. One of the parents, I believe, asked the question about can we search for specific topics and stuff. So let's say, for example, we always give weekly homeworks for each subject. Now, if your child is doing another subject or another topic they're struggling with in school, that we're not necessarily done that week, they can always search for that and look for that topic and practice it independently. So it is highly recommended for that. In terms of monitoring students' work, so yes, we have Sentry, and also some of the lessons that we do, most of the lessons we do are also done on ClassKick. So we monitor the work they're doing during the lesson, and you also get those links sent. So you can actually go and check to see what your child has been doing during that lesson as well. And again, it's always really helpful to see when there's parents checking and seeing how the students are doing during the lessons as well. Um, but yeah, in even some of these resources, I think like core bit maths in particular, for those of you that have got like year six students, okay, preparing for their SATs, core bit maths is really good for like preparing for primary school. They exams, so they have primary 5 a day and stuff like this. So there's like questions for every single day that will change. So if you want to check that out, again, I really recommend that.
Thank you so much for that, Nikhil. I think that's summarized a lot of the top resources that you can use. And again, most important thing, start now. Don't wait until April. Start your revision timetable now. Okay. So thank you so much. I'm going to continue a little bit longer. We're nearly done. I appreciate that we're here, but as you know me by now, I always try to do more than I intend to, because you know it's important. These things are very important. So again, a couple of okay. Let me see. Here we go. Is my screen being shared, by the way? It should be now, yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah,
so
here we go. So a couple of another revision. I think Kale, you mentioned some of these. Here's some more revision research. So Maths Genie I mentioned. Mr. Bruff is on YouTube. It's a YouTube channel for GCSE English. Now that's also good because it explains topics, explains exam questions. So that's really good as well. Physics and math tutor. Students know about it. It's on this YouTube channel. Again, it's a guy that explains it really simply. It's none of the faff with animation stuff. Really simple explanations of physics topics as well. So that's really good. And you got CGP 10-minute tests that you can do as well. Again, useful for revision. We'll send this out to you so you've got some links. What I don't want to do is overwhelm you. There's so many top resources out there. Stick to one or two and just capitalize on that. Okay. So that's really important. And then again, I'm going to mention another thing as well. When I say stick to one or two and capitalize on it, this is something that, again, I'll switch off now. Some of you know that recently I've been fortunate enough to I've gone back to martial arts, karate. I used to do karate around when I was young, and after 15 years, I've gone back, and uh, I'm not sure how, but I've been fortunate enough to be selected to represent Team GB in November. So I'm going to be competing on the world stage in November, this coming November, to represent Great Britain in karate. And one of the key things that I learned from earlier on was capitalize on the simple things. When I was young, I used to think, oh, I'm going to do this kick, I'm going to spin, and I'm going to do all this fancy kicks and turns and all this sort of stuff. And then I just get dizzy and fall over, or somebody would just come in and just do a really simple punch, and then that would be my points gone. And then it was called Wayne Otto, I think. He was a very successful world champion back in the days, and he would only do simple techniques like a reverse punch and a thrust, or a punch, like a simple grounded punch or a simple technique, and he would win his opponents just by the simplicity. And that's when I realized, yes, capitalize the on few things, but go all in with it. Yeah. The world is full of resources. The internet, if you go on, it's overwhelming. It's so noisy. But just find one or two things that work and don't look at anything else. Yeah. Don't search, don't Google, don't do anything, and just do that. And if you do that, you will you'll be consistent and you won't lose the focus. Yeah. So if anything, if nothing else, just use that little technique. Don't get overwhelmed with resources. If you're not sure, ask your teacher and just stick to that one resource. Okay. Hopefully that was a useful nugget, because that worked for me. Where am I? Let me see. And then we're going to go to questions in a sec. So have a think about your questions. A lot. I know most of the parents here are already existing students at Aim High. Just to remind you, so if you do have any questions, or if you want anything from this that um, you've missed, please get in touch with us. You can admin@aimhightuition.net. The admin team will respond. Best way is support ticket, because then we know who the messages come from and who to respond to. So do send in a support ticket, just the normal way. And this is the office admin number when they're in the office, not all the time. So the best way is, if you ever need to get in touch, guys, support ticket. Okay. Just before we go to the questions, guys, just another reminder. We get a lot of parents that refer students to us at Aim High, and we want to reward those parents. You say good things about us, you get other people to join, and that's it helps us help students make a difference. And one of my missions in life is to help as many students across the country, across the world. So please do continue referring people. And if you do refer anyone, please make sure you let us know, or they let us know your name, because we want to give you a little £20 discount as well. So if for all the students or any parent that you refer and they join, let us know, or tell them to let us know. We'll give you £20 off your next month's tuition as well. So please do that. I'm going to go to the questions, but also I just want to get a little bit of feedback from you. Last time I did it, I sent the wrong form, but this time I want to get it right. So please stick around. I'm going to go over any personal questions, specific questions in a minute. But before you do that, can I ask a huge request? Could you please fill this little short questionnaire? All it is telling you about what you found useful about tonight's session. And if you've got any suggestions, or if you have any other topics you want to talk about in future, I do try and do some of these as and when I can to give value. So please fill that questionnaire out in the chat right now. It'll only take you a few seconds. What's the number? So the number for what's the number you need? Is it for joining Game High, or I think you're referring to the office admin number. Okay, let me give you the admin number just in case. Most of you should have it by now, but I'll just send it you. So this is the admin number. You can copy it down. I'll put it in the chat if you need it. So this is the office admin number if you've got any admin required. Or if you want to just speak to me as well, let me know. And I'll be more than happy to answer questions. What else do we have? And then, again, I'll be a bit cheeky as well, because I know we've got some parents that are, most parents send their children to us. If you also don't mind, I'm trying to collect some 5-star reviews, guys. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I'm only trying to collect 5-star reviews. So if you don't mind and you're open to it and you're happy to give us a review about your experience at Aim High, please click the link here, the Trustpilot one, and just give us a 5-star review. You can write a little comment as well. We've already got really high reviews, but please do, share your experience that you've had with us. Only share if it's a 5-star review, please. I'm trying to make sure we got the best. Right. As you're doing that, guys, I will be taking questions now. So let me know in the chat, but also please fill the forms out. And yeah, Anaya, that's absolutely fine. I hope you enjoyed it, Anaya. And I'll answer any questions you guys have got now. So who has got some questions? And stick around for the questions. You don't have to leave because you haven't got a question, because just like at Aim High, our students learn from other students' questions. Just likewise, you learn as well. So please do stick around for questions. I'll try not to go over the time. I know last time I did 1 hour's worth of questions. I'll leave it short. Okay, Issa, hope you enjoyed it, by the way, Issa. Please do fill out the Trustpilot review for us, because that's what helps us as well. Here we go. Let me see where we've got questions. Okay, so Foja, you asked the question, for a year 10 student, how much time do you think is sufficient per day, per week for revision? Foja, are you still there? Right, I'm going to ask you a question now to help you answer your question. If you're there, just you can unmute yourself, and then I'll just need to understand a little bit more so I can give you the best advice. Are you there, Foja? Come on, unmute yourself. Then I can ask. You can ask the question. So what I'm going to ask you, Foja, is it depends on knowing what's sufficient. There is no right or wrong answer. If your child is doing no studying at all, then I wouldn't say get him to do or get her to do 1 hour, 2 hours of revision a day. That's not going to work. Get them to start small. Do 20 minutes. Yeah, 20 minutes every day or every other day. Start small, and then automatically they'll get into the habit. One of the students that I was speaking to, one of the parents, in fact, well, you might know, Shaheen, DJ, they call him. His son comes to Aim High, and last time he was on the webinar we had with the parents on how to help you get the best out of your child's education. I told him, just get your child to do 5 minutes a day. Just start off with 5 minutes. Once they start the 5 minutes, you'll find that they get into that bit of a role and they end up staying and they end up doing more than 5 minutes. Sometimes that 5 minutes, without you nagging them, goes to 30 minutes or 40 minutes. So start with whatever you think. If your child is someone that doesn't do any studying, just get them to commit to 5 minutes a day and be accountable to that. You'll find that they stay there for an hour or half an hour. So just do that. So that's one way. So that's something that you could start with. But anywhere between, as Mr. Akil says, 30 minutes to 1 hour a day is a good starting point. I think that's really good. Again, I'm repeating what you're saying, Mr. Mohammed. It's not necessarily the quantity, but it's the quality of time and organizing how you spend that time. Doing whether you're doing homework or revision. And again, thank you for reiterating the point I said. Consistency is key. Doing it regularly is very important. No problem. Any other questions, guys? But before you go, please do fill out the testimonial, the Trustpilot review page if you haven't done so already. We would love your 5-star reviews. Anyone else? Let me see. Tasha, do you have any questions? I know you were asking previously for Ethan. Is there any other questions that you've got that you want to ask? Thanks for the good luck, Fakul. I think I'm going to need it. I'm a bit worried. So it's a big competition. I've gone back after 15 years of not doing much. So yeah, I think I will need your.
You've got duas, you're going to ace it, inshallah.
I hope so, yeah. You need me to send the feedback form in the chat. Okay, I will send the feedback form in the chat as well. So I'm going to send the feedback form again in the chat. Before you, hopefully that answered your question that you asked. Okay, if you need to leave, guys, you're free to go. There's nothing else. I'm just going to hang around. If the shy students or the shy parents, should I say, if you've got any questions, I'll hang around a bit longer.